The top 10 most dangerous jobs in the world. We've all thought about how great it would be to make a living out of the money we earn ourselves. Going to work may seem a bit challenging and perhaps exhausting too, but it'll all be worth it when we get to buy our own first car, or take our loved ones for dinner and pay with our own earnings. However, for some of our friends out there, making a living is much harder than the rest, as their jobs are not as simple and easy to go to like the most jobs we do out there. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll be talking about the top 10 most dangerous jobs in the world. So sit back, enjoy, and try not to fall off your seat. Number 10. Lumberjacks. We've all heard chopping trees is bad, and what makes it worse is that the people performing this task are constantly at risk of being severely injured. Using heavy machinery to cut down a tall, heavy tree while dangling in the air is scarier than cutting down a tree as a whole. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, forestry workers were the most dangerous employment in 2016, with 91 workplace fatalities, an average of 135.9 out of 100,000 employees. The majority of deaths were caused by fallen trees of equipment malfunctions. If our lumberjacks are safe from fatal injuries, this does not keep them safe from the unlimited possibilities, woodcuts, and burns that the logs can cause. Oof, that's a dangerous start to the list. Number 9. Trash collectors. An everyday job being dangerous? Who would have thought that? Waste employees earn their living by keeping our streets clean, dealing with stinking garbage, and putting their lives in danger on a regular basis. Trash and recycling collectors have one of the world's most dangerous professions and the 6th most dangerous employment in the US. According to the recent BLS statistics, 31 waste collectors lose their lives every year, many of them as a result of employees falling from trucks, being hit by cars while on a job, or being involved in machinery accidents. Accidents aside, every waste collector is constantly exposed to toxic gases and waste that cause a lot of internal damage to them. Number 8. Underwater welders. Now here's a job you probably didn't even know existed. Normally, electricity and water don't mix, but for underground welders, it's simply another aspect of the job. Employees in this area work on pipelines, ships, dams, and other structures, and they're exposed to a variety of risks, including explosions and differential pressure. Underwater welders may often find themselves in high-pressure situations, unexpected water flow, and currents that make them stand a risk of drowning or suffering underwater injury. Underwater welders die at the rate of 40 times greater than that of the national average, according to a study of the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. It's worth noting that the study is more than 20 years old, and the studies in this subject aren't updated very often owing to its tiny population size. Number 7. Oil field workers. The Deepwater Horizon explosion and oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010, which killed 11 men, reminded the world that oil rig employees both offshore and onshore had one of the most dangerous occupations. Workplace hazards include weights, heavy machinery, and hazardous chemicals, to name a few. Surprisingly, vehicle collisions were the leading cause of fatalities among oil and extraction workers. According to the CDC, fatigue due to extreme weather conditions and dehydrations and long, dangerous trips to and from the rigs are two of the main causes for these incidents. Well, we certainly give our respects to these brave men and women risking their lives every day. Number 6. A veterinarian. Humans have an innate love for animals, right from fluffy dogs to the birds who sit on our shoulders, and hence dealing with ill animals can certainly be one taxing job. Veterinarians can be harmed by animal bites, diseases, and illnesses, but in places like Australia, mental health is a much bigger concern. According to the Australian Veterinary Association, these workers are up to 4 times as likely as the general population to commit suicide. Studies have pinpointed a single cause for the high suicide rate. Although excessive stress, having to put down animals, emotional difficulties linked with euthanasia, and financial difficulty are all prevalent roadblocks for these experts. So the next time you take your pet down to the vet, make sure to give them a big thanks, and you might just help them out. Number 5. Deep sea fishermen. There's a reason the program Deadliest Catch is so popular. The possibility of someone losing their life on the job is exceedingly high, which naturally piques the interest of thousands of nervous television viewers. According to the most recently available statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, fishermen and allied fishing jobs are the 2nd most dangerous jobs in the United States. Fishermen brave the unpredictable elements of nature on open oceans far from any medical assistance, risking their lives in the hopes of catching large paydays. And more so, catching a big fish could also mean catching a deadly fish, which is the biggest waters is not uncommon at all. And as you've guessed it, drowning is the leading cause of fatality in this sector. Number 4. Steel workers. We've all seen the construction workers jump up and down an unconstructed building and maybe even wondered how cool it looks, without possibly considering the life-taking risks it holds. The job is dangerous because of the heights, steel beam, crumbling walls, electrical wires, and swinging things. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, working as a steel worker is one of the most dangerous jobs in the United States. With 25.1 deaths per 100,000 employees, the majority of deaths in this industry are caused by falls, big cuts, muscle strains, broken bones, and burns. The deaths, even though may be slightly lesser, but non-fatal injuries are much more common in the steel and construction workers sector. Number 3. Bull riders. We've all heard of the sport in Spain where we tie a red napkin around our necks and run from the bulls. And even though it's been banned in multiple towns, it's not completely ceased to exist. However, bull riding is a prominent and rising sport in the United States and Australia, with the finest professional bull riders earning millions of dollars over time. It's also the rodeo sport with the greatest rate of human injury, making it one of the riskiest jobs in the world. Bull riding injuries are growing increasingly widespread according to 6-year Australian research, with the most common liaison happening on the limbs, chest, and head. Well, one can assume that the motivational phrase "break a leg" definitely not one of the things that you want to say to a bull rider. Number 2. Miners. Miners, while having some of the best songs to keep their minds occupied, also have an unimaginably high risk during this job. The potential earnings for working in the industry around the world undoubtedly surpass the risks, yet the dangers are numerous. Some of the hazards miners experience on the job include cave-ins, explosions, chemical leaks, tiredness, falls, electrocution, exposure to toxic gases, and heavy loads. China's mining industry is both the world's largest and most deadliest of them all. According to research, the country is responsible for 80% of all coal mining deaths worldwide each year, most of which are caused by explosions. Besides, being under the ground for over 12 hours a day without having any exposure to the sun is physically harmful and goes without saying mentally challenging, which is why our friends over at the mining industry have got the second most dangerous job according to us. And now, before we head over to number 1, which is the most dangerous job in the world, we'd really appreciate it if you could quickly head down and click on the subscription button and hit the like button too for more enthusiasts like yourself so you can enjoy the content daily. Done? Great. Now let's get on with the most dangerous job, which is number 1, stunt performers. Yes, these jobs have seemed to be super cool while watching the behind the scenes of the movies, but when you see stuntmen and stuntwomen go around the set with cords tied to their backs while performing action scenes. However, in reality, it's a dangerous job where workers are effectively hired to undertake insane feats that are too dangerous for actors to perform or to wow a live audience. Difficult maneuvers, such as jumping from tremendous heights, crashing vehicles, and fighting with real weapons are all part of the job, and these can result in serious injuries or even death. While no official statistics are provided, the overall look and feel of this job has a certain edginess to it, which is why it ranks first on our list. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of today's list. Which job did you find the most dangerous? Let us know in the comments below. Also tell us what video you'd like to see next, and until then, take care and goodbye.